and today I am going to walk you through all the steps that you need to know so you can make 4 placemats. As always, I will link everything in the description down below, everything as far as what I'm using and measurements that I use for these tutorials. Alright, so before we put this placemat together, I do want to mention that we used a jelly roll for this project. However, if you just cut the strips to the dimensions I linked down below, then you will be able to make this placemat as well. This particular jelly roll that I bought managed to make me a table runner, as well as these 4 placemats and the scraps for the pot holder for next week's tutorial. Alright, let's get to making those placemats. So each placemat will need 4 strips of fabric. Each strip is going to be cut at 13 inches in length. Each strip, if it comes from the jelly roll, is already cut at 2.5 inches in width. So once you have all of your strips cut out, then it's time to sort them and organize them and decide how you want your placemat to look. And then it's time to start stacking these strips together. And then we will sew them all at a 1/4 inch seam so that all 8 strips of fabric have been sewn together. If you are making this tutorial using the scraps from last week's tutorial where we made the table runner, then I did list how many strips you would need left over to be able to make these placemats. However, I did end up wanting to make my table runner a bit longer because I have quite a long dining table. So in the end, I did add about 6 strips of fabric to my excess strips. That way I had enough to make all 4 placemats. Alright, so once all 8 strips have been sewn together with that 1/4 inch seam, take it to your iron and press all of those seams open. That way your light fabrics are laying on light and your dark are laying on the dark. And now it is time to cut our batting and our backing. To do this, you actually want to make sure that the batting and the backing are a little bit larger than the placemat itself. Because when you start sewing all 3 pieces together, the fabric can shift around a little bit, and when it shifts, you need that little bit of extra space around the entire placemat. I find most of my movement happens on both short ends, so I make sure that I give myself at least an extra inch there and then a 1/2 inch on the top and the bottom. So once all 3 pieces are cut out, then it's time to sandwich all 3 pieces of fabric together. The way that we want to do this, of course, the batting is in the middle, and then the backing, make sure it is right side facing out, and the top is also right side facing out. Then it's time to start pinning it together. The more pins, the less movement that you will have. And now we're going to bring it to the sewing machine and we are going to stitch in the ditch. This is a great time to practice that skill. Stitching in the ditch simply means just sewing along each seam that has already been sewn. If you find the idea of stitching in the ditch just a little too intimidating, then I would suggest using the side of your sewing foot as a guide and sewing along each seam on each side. In this case, it would look a little bit more like this quilt I have pictured here, without the cross sections, of course. But I do encourage you, if you stitch in the ditch and you pop out of the ditch every now and again, no one's going to notice because you're using a whole bunch of different prints. So this really is the perfect time to practice stitching in the ditch. Once you've sewn all 3 pieces of fabric together, it should look something like this. And now it's time to square off your placemat. To do this, you'll line your ruler along the short side. I also like to line my ruler up along that first side seam to make that first cut. After that, trust your ruler and that straight seam to guide you along the rest of your placemat, making sure that you cut in far enough that you end up cutting all of those individual strips along the way. That way it will be perfectly straight with no extra batting sticking out the edge. And now that our placemat is completely square, we are going to add bias tape around the entire outer edge. All right, so the final step is going from this to this. This, of course, being adding the binding. Now, for the binding, for my placemats, I ended up using very small binding, mainly because it's what I had in my house. However, if you are a beginner sewer, do not use this tiny binding. Use the 1-inch binding. It will make it so much easier and it will help you as you practice adding batting so that you can get better and better. And then later, when you make other projects, you will feel confident and you'll be able to add maybe the thinner binding as well. All right, so let's jump into adding binding onto our placemat. All right, so to add binding, I'm just going to show you on this little scrap project here. This is the beginning of my coaster in next week's tutorial. And we are going to use a 1/2 inch double folded bias tape for this. So this is what it'll look like once you open it up. Now the trick is finding out which side is the smaller side on your bias tape. One side is folded in and it's just a little bit smaller than the other side. So you can use a sewing gauge or a ruler to figure out which side is smaller. And once you've figured out which side is smaller, that is the side that you are going to lay along the top edge of your placemat. And once you start pinning it to your placemat, make sure that you mark a 2 to 3 inch section on your bias tape where you will actually start sewing. You want to leave part of this edge loose because it will make it easier to attach to the end piece of the bias tape when you come around from the other side. So you're only going to attach that first side of bias tape to the actual placemat itself, and then go in those 2 to 3 inches like I talked about. And here we are going to start stitching in the ditch. So do a quick back stitch and then sew all the way down until you've left yourself about 1 inch to 2 inches worth of space coming down to the bottom. And once you get close to the bottom, then you're going to take your fabric and just fold it over. That way you can create a bit of a finger crease and you'll be able to line that crease up with your corner and then sew straight to the top of that angle, pivot your fabric, and then sew right off your corner. I do like to do a little back stitch there as well. Snip those threads and that's what it'll look like. All right, so now we're at this corner and you're going to fold your fabric over the edge and then back down. Once you have done that, then add a few more of those clips. Take it to your sewing machine. Start at the very top where you see that crease on your bias tape and stitch in the ditch all the way down, doing the same thing at every corner. And just a note, I am only using black thread so that you can see what I am doing. Now we have attached the top part around our entire placemat, and now it's time to mark in on the one side of our bias tape. We're going to mark in at a 1/2 inch. Draw a mark all the way along using a water-soluble pencil or pen. And now take the other side of your bias tape and lay it over the first one. And when you lay it over with white bias tape, you can see your marking underneath. But if you can't, just fold it up so that you see where it is and then mark along that same line on the other side of your bias tape. Once you've done this, then you can cut along that top piece of bias tape. Then match up those seams, and this is why we left a little bit of space on both sides of our bias tape, so we have a little bit more wiggle room to match up our seams. And then we'll pin that, take it to the sewing machine, and sew straight across those marked lines that you just did. Then finish stitching in the ditch along your bias tape so that that section has been secured to the top of your placemat. Then it's time to start flipping over all of those corners, and then we are going to start working from the back section. Take your bias tape and just fold it over the edge and clip it in place. When you use your clips, actually make sure that the bottom of your clip is facing up, because when we take this to the sewing machine, we're actually going to flip it over when we do our last and final seam. So when you get to the corner here, then take some time folding it into a point. Keep clipping and clip all the way around until all 4 points have been done. The 4th point is actually the hardest. So what can help is actually unclipping around that corner as you go along, just to give yourself a little bit of extra wiggle room to fold that 4th corner into place. And now it's time to take this to the sewing machine for our final seam. All right, so I'm going to use peach thread on my bobbin so that I can show you the bottom seam, but I'm going to keep white thread on my spool. So when you take this to the sewing machine and you want to do your final stitch, flip it over so that the top part of your placemat, or in this case our pot holder, is facing right side up. At this point, I'm also going to adjust my stitch so that it's just a little bit longer, because I find that will look a lot nicer for my top stitch. And then align your needle along the edge of your bias tape. Do a little back stitch and then sew around the entire edge. As you are doing this, because you used the narrower part of your bias tape along the top, it's set inwards just that little bit, so it should be catching the bottom section of your bias tape. When we're done, we'll have a look and see how we did. If there is a section that has not been caught, it's really easy just to fix. Take that seam, just sew along that edge, and it'll look perfectly fine. And that, my friends, is how you can make placemats out of a jelly roll. I hope that you found this tutorial helpful. Please subscribe if you want more creative content like this. Hit that thumbs up button if you found this tutorial helpful, and click that notification bell so that you don't miss future tutorials. Tutorials like last week's table runner or next week's pot holders. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Bye!